All right, light up those pumpkins, everybody, because we are live. Let's see who else is awake and alive with us today. All right, welcome. Hello, everybody. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming this afternoon to bring you an HDN live special report because the day is finally here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are breaking down, discussing, dissecting the brand new official trailer for Halloween Ends. Plus the poster, synopsis, new characters, returning characters, new limbs. It's going to be awesome. Let's get ready, guys. I'm so happy to be here. I've missed you guys. I appreciate all the love to anybody new here. My name is Matt Arts. We are Halloween Daily News. Welcome. And to all of our returning friends, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us today on this much earlier than normal time slot. As you know, the trailer for Halloween Ends dropped last night, unceremoniously early, due once again to a damn leak. I'm not even going to go there right this second, but anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome. Thank you all for understanding about Michael Myers Monday this past week. And full disclosure, if you didn't see my post earlier this week, currently looking at somebody dealing with the effects of good old COVID. Tested positive on Saturday. It's been a rough couple of days, but feeling pretty good today. Sucking on some halls right now and drinking steady OJ today. Not even any vodka in it either, believe it or not, guys. But I'm here. I apologize because my voice, if I sound a little stuffed up, that's because I am. But we are here. This is what we've been waiting for. So definitely excited to do this. And again, those of you that commented on my post on Monday, sent well wishes and all that, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And to everybody in here right now, thank you so much for being here. We're going to get into all of this in just a second. But first, I'm just going to turn over here like always and check in to the live chat because I see some familiar friends have already checked in. Of course, Patrick Rain, one of our channel members. Thank you. Welcome. Happy Halloween's Day. Bayfield is here. Woke up to the trailer. Best day ever. Absolutely. Let's see. Don Harrison is in here. Awesome. Just enough to hype me up even more. That's right. Yep, not too much, just enough. I kind of feel the same way. Chapman Reviews is here, says trailer looks awesome. I agree. Darkman is here. What's up, guys? Andromeda, our friend, Chicago horror fan, has checked in. Sekou Rotonin is here. Exciting times ahead for us fans. Absolutely. Melvin's here. Of course, the great David Suber. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. And I'm sure some other people will probably filter in throughout, hopefully. And maybe not. We might not have that many people joining us for this live breakdown because, quite honestly, the trailer has been out now for about 14 or so hours, I think, and pretty much all 6,000 other channels and outlets that do this type of stuff, they've all already done theirs. So, but I figured it just wouldn't be us if, we weren't kind of bringing up the caboose, so to speak, right? But I do think we've got a few things to look at when we get into especially the discussion portion of this, because this is going to be a breakdown and discussion. Like always, we're doing this live because I want your input as we go along. We'll go through the trailer. I'll talk about it a little bit. We won't go exactly frame by frame, but I'll give you my take on some things and really my point of view today, because I have watched it a number of times since it was released last night. Just after 10 p.m., Jamie Lee Curtis surprised everybody tweeting, hey, here comes a treat. Come back in 15 minutes, and boom, there it was. And yeah, I toyed with the idea of jumping on here, even really pushing it and trying to be on around 10:31 p.m., our normal Triple M slot. But again, between the sickness and just everything going on, I felt, and plus, again, let's face it, there was a ton of other channels that immediately went live with that stuff anyway, and a lot of you guys were probably already watching them anyway. So, rather than compete with all that and try to rush something, I figured let's just stick with the schedule, move it up a few hours. It was going to be 3:30. Move it up a few because we're all excited and just want to talk about this. So, I could not be more excited. Overall general thoughts just right off the bat. I agree with what some of these early comments are that, yeah, I think the trailer is just right as far as what it showed, what it didn't. It doesn't spoil too much, doesn't reveal too much, just enough to get us hyped and excited. We're going to dig into it in just a minute. And I'm going to first talk, though, about this poster. I want to talk about this first, okay? And then we're going to talk about the official synopsis. And then we're going to go through the trailer. And then after that, it's going to be more of the discussion part. Again, I want to hear your comments throughout, and I'll be taking comments and questions throughout. But at the end, I've got a little more discussion because I just want to bring a little bit of some background and something from our archives and from elsewhere within this franchise that I think holds very particular significance within exactly what we're seeing in this trailer and in this new synopsis. And I keep talking about that part because, again, I mean, as awesome as the trailer is, we've finally got some clue, just a little bit of clue as far as plot for this movie, which we have not had until now. And that's very exciting. And we've also got a new character confirmed and very interesting and very curious what they have confirmed already about him in this new official synopsis. And anyway, we're going to get to all that. Lots to talk about. So I'm going to slow down for a second. I'm going to breathe. Again, I am sucking on halls because I'm still congested today. I'm drinking OJ. If you hear my audio, just if I mute it for a minute, or if you see me go off screen for a minute, it's probably because I got to go blow my nose or just have a coughing fit or something like that for just a minute. So just bear with me and carry on the discussion. Like I said, there's a lot to get to. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. And like I said, we're going to start with this poster. And before I pull it up full screen, I just want to, obviously the hashtag Halloween Daily is not part of the poster. Although it looks all right there, right? I mean, I think it looks kind of cool. Let me see. Who else has checked in real quick before we get into the poster breakdown? Because even before we get to the trailer, I just got to talk about this poster for a minute. Tim is here. What's up, man? Matt O has checked in. Trailer is sick. I got to agree. Showed the right amount. Yep. What's up, Megan? Welcome. Happy Hallow Wednesday. Bayfield says the fake Michael theory sounds interesting. Yeah. I'm going to talk about all that. We'll talk about what we know and what has been put out there in the last 14 hours. And I don't even really want to talk about the leak. I wasn't even going to mention it, and I probably even shouldn't. I'm just going to real quick. I just don't even, I mean, we were so close. It's gone over in my head. I mean, I can't believe it happened last year, and then it happened again last night, and then, Universal, they just thankfully went ahead and dropped it because everybody was watching a bootlegged, crappy version that had been leaked a few hours earlier, and it's just like, what could possibly be gained by the person that leaked that? Or I just don't, I don't think fans were asking for that last night. I don't think, we were right here. It was going to happen today. Anyway, moving on. Like I said, not trying to talk about yesterday, not even trying to talk about tomorrow. Let's talk about today and this awesome trailer. Brief but sweet. As is this poster. Again, not reinventing the wheel here. It's very similar to the Halloween Kills poster, which itself was very similar to the Halloween 2018 poster. They were kind of mirror images of each other. I did honestly expect that this one, since those two were mirror images of each other, let me get my novelizations here. You can see what I mean. See, I did kind of think maybe that with this being the third one, it might kind of be the center one of him looking straight on. But in any case, it is a great image of Michael, and I'll talk about the mask in just a second. But even before that, I just got to, because I am like just a always just a fan and student, and just watch campaign advertising. I mean, just marketing. It's just always curious to me how the decisions they make. But one thing that struck me pretty early on last night is that how they are marketing this film. The title. I mean, what is right there? It doesn't say Halloween Ends. It says Ends, and then this Halloween. Like, the movie is called Ends, and it's coming this Halloween. And I mean, it's called Halloween Ends, but I mean, we've never really thought of it or seen it kind of written this way. But honestly, I think this is perfect for this. They're letting the mask, first of all, say the obvious Halloween part. Like, if you see that mask and you don't think the word Halloween, well, then you're already not the market for this movie, and they get that. So that part is great. But then Ends, just being it, it's, we've always thought of it as Halloween Ends, and I've said before, maybe think of it as Halloween : Ends, as in ends being the subtitle, as in ends plural, multiple endings. You know what I mean? Multiple story endings, multiple life endings. And it looks like, to me, this poster is absolutely leaning into that, and I love it. And that's one of my immediate favorite things about it, is it just says Ends this Halloween. I think that's kind of brilliant. And now let's just go in for just a second before we get to the trailer, and let's just go in to the poster for just a minute. And again, we got still some of the flames coming out of the corner. I think obviously if you line the three posters up, it'll look kind of cool with the flames from HK coming off of that poster and actually kind of bleeding a bit into this one, which is cool. And it's actually kind of lighting the front of the mask a little bit. You know what I mean? All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the mask for a minute. And I haven't lightened it or anything. And, when we got descriptions from the early footage from CinemaCon, what brief description we got at that time suggested that the mask that they saw in that footage wasn't entirely, radically different than how we last saw it at the end of HK. And this reflects that. It's 4 years older, it's more worn, it's probably less worn, hasn't been worn as much and has been, kind of crumpled up or whatever, but more wear and tear. It's darker, it's dirtier, but you still see all of those burn marks that were present in HK, and but it's cooled with these ensuing years. But just like with the previous two films' first posters, I have to say that, I like that they keep it simple. It's not, they're keeping it in this David Gordon Green Halloween universe, and that is about this image, Michael, this mask, and this somber tone. And if you look at the three, the first one is very black and white, and of course HK is very lit with the yellows and orange of the blaze, and now here we have just a bit of that blaze, a hint of that blaze still down in the corner, but very dark, the darkest of all three posters, if we're going to do a comparison, which we'll do eventually, but not today. All right, so I'm not going to go too much deeper into the actual look of the mask. I think it looks great, though. I mean, I think it looks exactly like we would want it. I don't want them to reinvent the mask because presumably it's the same mask from HK, which was 4 years, 4 years prior. Speaking of which, before we get too much further into this, and before we get to the trailer again, I do want to go over this new official synopsis that was released yesterday with the trailer. And I'm just going to read you a little bit of it real quick, okay? So here's the new official synopsis. It reads in part, This is Laurie Strode's last stand. After 45 years, the most acclaimed, revered horror franchise in film history reaches its epic, terrifying conclusion as Laurie Strode faces off for the last time against the embodiment of evil, Michael Myers, in a final confrontation unlike any captured on screen before. Only one of them will survive. The synopsis goes on to state, and this is where it gets interesting. In the film, 4 years after the events of Halloween Kills, Laurie is living with her granddaughter, Allison, played once again, of course, by Andi Matichak, and Laurie is finishing writing her memoir. Michael Myers hasn't been seen since. Laurie, after allowing the specter of Michael to determine and drive her reality for decades, has decided to liberate herself from fear and rage and embrace life. But when a young man named Corey Cunningham, played by Rowan Campbell, is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that will force Laurie to finally confront the evil she can't control once and for all. And it's now officially confirmed. We had confirmed it in our own investigating, but Halloween Ends co-stars returning cast: Will Patton once again as Officer Frank Hawkins, Kyle Richards once again as Lindsay Wallace, as I said earlier, Andi Matichak once again as Allison, and of course our friend, the great James Jude Courtney, once again as the Shape. All right. So before we even watch this trailer, reading this is some new information. We knew it was going to be 4 years later, but obviously this info about this new kid, this new character, Corey Cunningham. Now, we knew that Rowan Campbell was in the film. We didn't know who he was playing. We didn't know how big of a role it was, how significant of it was. We knew it because of some social media posts that he and other cast members shared. Most significantly, Jamie Lee Curtis herself shared a very widely shared photo on Instagram of herself with Andy and with Rowan. And I hope I'm saying his name right. If it's Rohan, I'm sorry. And somebody correct me if I am saying it wrong. But So now we know that he is playing this new character who we've never met before, named Corey Cunningham. At this stage, doesn't appear to have any connection to any characters that we know about yet. It says he's accused of killing a boy he was babysitting. All right, full stop right there. Let's just unpack this bit of info. First of all, there are, they're obviously laying some breadcrumbs here, and we're going to see more of this in the trailer, But let's just look at this guy's name for just a minute. I mean, surely I'm not the only one who hears the name Cunningham and immediately thinks of Sean Cunningham, right? Director of the original Friday the 13th, right? Okay. Hold that thought. We're going to talk more about the idea of the significance of all of that after the breakdown and the discussion portion of this event. All right, let's go ahead and pull up the trailer. Let me just check in with you guys real quick before we do that. What's up, Brad? Welcome. Larry is here. Happy Halloween's Day. David, thanks for being here. Don, thanks for being here. Let's see. Love the trailer. It says Halloween ends 2022. Awesome. Arnie Cunningham from Christine. That's a good point, too. Of course, David Gordon Green said in an interview last year that he felt that part of his inspiration for the script for Halloween Ends owed a little bit to John Carpenter's adaptation of Stephen King's Christine. So that's a good point there. I would argue Cunningham might have might cut both ways, so to speak, in those respects. Certainly a name that carries a lot of weight within the horror community, no matter what in the genre. All right, let's dive into this trailer. Patrick says, I think they showed just enough. I don't need any more. Absolutely. Adam, the question you're asking, yes, I did notice, and yes, we're going to discuss that because a lot of people have noticed that and have made that comment on our social media posts, and we're going to get into that right now. So, if you've joined us before, how we'll do this is I'll pull up the trailer on full screen. We'll play it. I'll have the volume down for most of it. I'll just kind of be talking and giving my take. We'll pause. We'll talk about, certain still images, and I'll just kind of give my take, and then I'll get your take. We'll go through it like that, and then at the end, like I said, we'll have a more extended discussion period, and I'll give you a little bit more of my take of this everything we know now. And so I guess in all fairness, spoiler warning, if you have not watched the trailer and don't want to know anything more than you already know, then I guess now would be the time to look away, or at least hit mute and pull up another tab maybe. Okay. Let's see. Joan says, I hope it doesn't suck. The trailer looks awesome. Hope they don't kill Allison. Let's see. Andromeda says, Michael isn't the gently open the door type these days either. He has kind of just been busting in with force. Yes, to all that. Yes. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah, a bit of trust. They've given us two fantastic movies. Absolutely. All right. So that's the game plan. All right, guys. So we are going to get into it now. We've been going on the stream about 25, almost 30 minutes or so. So we're going to now get into the trailer breakdown. And like I said, I'll be watching the comments as we go. And I'll try not to get too distracted on any big rants or anything like that. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Let's pull this up over here. And again, if you hear my, or if you cease to hear my volume and it goes mute for a minute, or if I forget to hit mute and you hear me coughing or blowing my nose or something, then you'll know what's up. Because again, I'm sick. Sorry. I apologize. But luckily for all of us, I lead a relatively quarantine life in general, on average, most days anyway. So that part doesn't affect me so much. And again, guys, I'm going to keep saying it today because it's been a hell of a week. But thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. It's great to hang out with all you guys. Great to be doing this finally. I'm so excited. Happy Halloween's Day. All right. All right. So here we go with our trailer breakdown. First official look at Halloween Ends. All we had before that, officially, there were some unofficial photos from the set shared mostly by Jamie Lee Curtis and some by other cast members and crew. And then there was that one official photo, a set photo taken by the set photographer of our three female leads, Kyle, Andy, and Jamie. And that's all we had until last night when we got the poster. And now these 1 minute and 16 seconds worth of footage. All right, let's dive in. All right, so of course I got to stop right here. And again, the volume for you guys is going to be turned down a little bit. You've watched the trailer hopefully numerous times by now. And like I said, I'm going to give my take. You guys chime in as we go along. Immediately, the very first sound we hear, the very first words of dialogue in this trailer are the words trick or treat. And again, yeah, we are Halloween daily news. Halloween is our life here. So for me to hear that, I can't think of a better way to open the trailer. And meanwhile, our very first image, it is presumably a random street in Haddonfield. I'm guessing Haddonfield. I'm going to assume Haddonfield for now until we know differently. Halloween night, kids and families out trick-or-treating, decorations in the lawn. It doesn't look, I noticed this, that it doesn't look overly decorated or packed with kids. If you compare it to the trick-or-treating scene in Halloween 2018, I would guess, and this is just me reading into it, maybe too much, but you guys tell me what you think. Maybe that's a creative decision to have it a little less jam-packed this Halloween because, after all, what this community has gone through on October 31st, 4 years ago. Also really interesting that right there in the foreground, we see somebody wearing a pirate costume. Pirate costumes very recurring in the Halloween franchise. Of course, a lot of people remember the original little boy dressed as the pirate getting taken into Haddonfield Memorial Hospital in Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2. And of course, he was kind of paid homage to in that great scene in the 2018 Halloween film. And then one of the Johns was dressed as a pirate in HK as well. So, the pirate costume never gets old in Haddonfield, I guess. You can never go wrong selling that in Haddonfield. It's your local costume shop. Bayfield, I appreciate the get well soon. Thank you so much. Jack Russell says, interesting if the add-on character is to pay homage to the drafted title of the Babysitter Murders. Very interesting. Andromeda sees balloons. Yeah, I see the balloons. You think that suggests Pennywise in the neighborhood? David agrees. Yeah, maybe Haddonfield is a ghost town after that killing. Talking about the 2018, Michael's return in 2018. Adam agrees too. After what Haddonfield went through in 2018 and kills, it wouldn't surprise me if the residents didn't like celebrating it anymore. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling. Is that there's a few that still go out and are like, yeah, but yeah, I would think a lot wouldn't. All right, that's our first image, and that's our first bit of audio. So far so good, if you ask me. And it does look like Haddonfield, just a much emptier Haddonfield than when we saw it in 2018. So we get a bit of breathing right there. Nick Castle, of course, once again performing the breathing for Michael. And then we get a shot of this house. And hopefully you guys, regular viewers of the Halloween Daily News channel, readers of our website, HalloweenDailyNews.com, hopefully you all remember and recognize this house, this red house. You should recognize it because we were there. We were there back in January when they were filming in Savannah. If you haven't seen it, look it up here on our channel. Look up Savannah, look up Halloween Ends filming locations. We didn't know a lot of the locations. We didn't have a lot of info, and they technically hadn't even started principal photography yet. But we were there just ahead of them shooting, and the production was there setting up. And we know this because we stood there, and that house is the one location that we definitely knew they were going to be shooting at. And we even told you that they had painted it this red for the production, and so now it was very it was a very pleasant surprise last night to see, oh, that looks familiar. That's the house we were at a few months ago. And to see it featured so early and so prominently right here in the trailer, pretty cool to see. That house obviously now immortalized in this film forever. And also right there when we get that shot, you get a lot of things at once in the audio. You get just a little bit of Michael breathing, presumably Michael breathing, right? The shape breathing. And just as we get a shot of that house, we get just a little bit of that iconic Halloween theme, just for a second there, because we don't get a ton of John Carpenter's new score in this trailer. That's a whole conversation in itself, as it always should be. But we do get little bits and pieces of it here. And so here we see the house significantly more decorated than when we were there. They've got the jack-o'-lantern lights and some spider webs and everything. And then there's that neighboring house, which we also got some footage of when we were there. And it's got some holiday lighting going on as well. And we hear the breathing. Just a little bit of soundtrack music there, just real slight, nothing too crazy. And already these scenes, the first time I'm watching them, I'm feeling like, well, this is a little bit of the, again, the 2018 trick-or-treating scene, Michael's return, but it's it's really kind of more of a throwback to 78, right? You know, that very first POV shot that opens the film in some ways. I'll pause here and check some comments in the live chat and see what you guys think. Andromeda's comments about the balloons said, didn't Kills start with a shot of balloons? Yes, the first teaser for it did. And that is the first image we got of it. Yeah, and Alexander says maybe it isn't Laurie's house. Because Andromeda says Laurie's celebrating Halloween. Look at all the pumpkins on her house. Yeah, I mean, well, we'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, this house is definitely decorated for Halloween. Bayfield remembers our photos. Yep. Again, I didn't know how significant the house was going to be featured. Well, in the film, much less in the trailer, but pretty damn awesome that. And we were the first ones to get those shots. A lot of people, did Google Earth and got real estate listing shots of the house, but we were the first ones to actually go there on site and publish some photos with its paint job as it appears in the film anyway. David says that the breathing in this part doesn't sound like Castle. It sounds like someone else, totally different breathing. It's everything in here. I think we are seeing stuff very deliberately. Another little hint of Carpenter's theme there. And I like seeing some pumpkins there in the room. Now, I haven't taken the time to zoom in properly on the newspaper clippings on the wall, but I could imagine what some of those might say. So, now here comes one of the key moments in this trailer that everybody's talking about. Here we get what looks like the shape. And, yes, many of you have already commented in the live chat, and many of you have commented on our social media posts that it appears in this shot that maybe Michael Myers has all 5 fingers again. That looks like his left hand opening the door, and it looks like 5 fingers, no bandage, no missing digits. And we'll see that a familiar face is in here waiting for him. All right, and then we cut to that. But let's just go back here for just a minute because I've got a few thoughts on this, and I'll talk a little bit more about this at the end, like I said, when we get more into the discussion portion of this event. But, well, first of all, there's a couple different possibilities here that I thought of. Number one, the obvious assumption is this is not Michael Myers. Okay, this is somebody else in a Michael Myers outfit. Now, reading that synopsis, we could jump right to, okay, this is this guy Corey, whatever, all that. Let's not even go there quite yet. Let's look at the idea that this could be anybody, first of all. Maybe this is somebody playing a prank on crazy old Laurie Strode. Yeah, I know that would be messed up. That would be incredibly messed up, but we live in a messed up world. Um, this could also be some kind of fantasy sequence for Laurie Strode. You know, why in her fantasy would he have all of his fingers back? Who knows? But or maybe it's a nightmare sequence where he comes in, she shoots him, and she shoots the wrong person, and then that's her nightmare or something. My point is, there's tons of possible explanations, but if we're going to go with the idea that maybe there's some kind of uh, copycat or mistaken, someone in a Michael costume who's not Michael, or somebody purposely trying to be mistaken for Michael who's not Michael, I would argue that none of this is entirely new for this franchise. And I'm going to go back and talk more about that after the trailer. But, all that being said, pretty safe to assume that whoever it was opening that door, suspiciously not Michael. Now, I have to believe, and this, again, we all saw the Halloween Kills trailers, the marketing. They did have some pretty spoilery stuff in there, as it turns out. I have to believe that Universal has what they have in this trailer for specific reasons. I cannot believe, I'm gonna choose not to believe, that there are mistakenly spoilerific details exposed in here. I am proceeding, enjoying this marketing and enjoying these breadcrumbs, and I think they want us to notice this, because if not, then why in the trailer the way they do with the close-up shot of that same hand the way they do? I think this is very intentional, as you guys have said. Possibly with the breathing, I didn't notice a huge difference. I'll go back and listen even closer, but whatever differences are here, I do think that's intentional, and I'm going to choose to believe at this point that it's very intentional to have this in this marketing, maybe even to misdirect us in ways that you're not thinking it's meant to misdirect us. Again, I'll talk more about all of this at the end, but let's proceed. So here's our first look at Jamie Lee Curtis once again playing Laurie Strode. This is, believe it or not, the 7th film in which Jamie Lee Curtis has portrayed Laurie Strode. It's the 9th film total where the character Laurie Strode has faced off against the character of Michael Myers. After reading that synopsis, it says she's been more or less trying to live her best life and move on from Michael. When we saw that set photo, it did kind of reflect that, now that, in retrospect. And even this shot, while she's ready and determined and means business, her hair looks a lot nicer than it did when we first saw her in 2018. She's even got a jack-o'-lantern, and it's kind of smiling, half smile anyway. So she's somewhat in the Halloween spirit, even, maybe, kind of. And one more off-the-wall possibility, I thought, is maybe it's not somebody pranking crazy old Laurie Strode, because Lord knows she's been through enough. And even high school jokers should know that she's been through enough. But maybe it is some high school asshole pranking somebody else, Or maybe it's one of Allison's, crazy ex-boyfriends or something. Maybe she's been spiraling for a couple of years and hanging out with the wrong crowd and one of these guys. My point is, maybe this is Laurie coming in knowing that this is not Michael Myers, but whoever it is, let's go. You're done. Just my takes and my thoughts on this particular sequence. And just one more quick thought. Just because of the cinematography here, I love the imagery. I mean, this still says a lot about this movie. It says a lot about all three of these most recent movies, and arguably, it says a lot about the entire franchise. It says a lot about the character of Laurie Strode. It says a lot about Jamie Lee Curtis herself. I think this image will be one of those images, you know, kind of like Michael standing on the porch as Laurie's house is up in flames from the last film. I think this is going to be one of those images, you know, just as a still image alone that will immediately, you know, scream not only Halloween Ends, but David Gordon Green's Halloween films in the future. All right, let's move on, Loba. And now here, the lighting's darker. Everything's more violent. And it's much more the James Jude Courtney Michael that we recognize from the last two films. So, and again, this is just, you know, some immediate impressions on here, but if we're meant to think that's somebody else trying to be Michael or be a new Michael, mimic Michael, copycat Michael. As far as this trailer, they definitely want to remind us that, oh, don't worry, the one you know and love, yeah, he's still here. He's still coming home this year. And they don't call her the Scream Queen for nothing. Here we get quite a bit of screams. There's Jamie doing what put her on the map, right? And here we get an assortment of some new faces. Faces that I don't recognize. Faces of cast members that we have not met yet. That have not even been officially announced yet. And they're all seen very briefly also screaming in complete terror. This is an especially good scream shot. William says that also incorporating the real life aspect of COVID of the last few years would also be another reason. Yeah, I think all of the reasons, the real life reasons and the in-universe Michael Myers 2018 massacre reasons are the reasons there's so many fewer people out trick-or-treating. Alexander says maybe there's a recreation of Laurie walking across the street to neighbors. Androma says, I recognized the house right away. So cool you were there. Awesome. Somebody saying the Shape's hair looks a little too fluffy in that early shot. Can't see the mask too well, but the mask also, to me, appears to be a bit less damaged than it should be in that shot too. Don says, Laurie looks like she's wearing a similar outfit to the original. Yes, absolutely. I think that is a definite callback. 1-2 says, the weird breathing under the mask is as if it were someone else, and maybe not Michael. Adam says it's definitely Michael in the fight scenes, but the door scene doesn't feel like it's him. Andromeda says, I think that's Melanie. Okay. Well, we are going to be investigating and learning as much as we can about all of these new characters and the actors who portray them. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is our young Corey Cunningham. Um, I think this is Rowan. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, this would suggest that he is going to have an encounter with Michael, it appears, at some point. Whoever it is, he's having an encounter with somebody in what looks like an underground sewer. I don't know. Could this be the cave of the working title of the film? That it was Cave Dweller was the working title of the film? Could this be why that was for some reason? And here we have another new character from what I can tell. You guys tell me, who is this we're looking at? I know who is coming through the back door. And again, I mean, I have spoken often about the cinematography of these recent films and how Michael Simmons, as director of photography for David Gordon Green, they have really tapped into what I think Dean Cundy, as director of photography, did with John Carpenter in the original Halloween and Halloween 2 and Halloween 3 and so many of Carpenter's most beloved films. And this is a prime example of that, where, you know, just a classic Halloween Michael Myers shot. You know, somebody in distress on the phone. I heard something outside. You know, classically looking the wrong way from where the shape is actually coming. And here he comes, silently stalking. I mean, look at that shot. I love it. That is Halloween 101 right there. That is a beautiful shot. Let's just pause on that for a second. You guys, give me your thoughts for a second. All right, let's see what you guys are thinking. Sorry, I had to step away for just 1 second, guys. I'm back now. LMS says, wow, this trailer was epic. Hell yeah. You guys are thinking this shot might be Corey impersonating Michael. So already, just from not quite all of this trailer, but from that synopsis, and a lot of you have already made up your mind that, because again, let's just keep in mind before we get too off track on Corey. Just remember, the synopsis says he's accused of killing a boy he's babysitting. So it's leaving it open. So but you guys seem to be saying, um, yeah, he killed the kid, and he's trying to be a Michael Myers killer. If I'm hearing what you guys are guessing correctly. Again, I think there are things in this trailer that Universal's marketing team is wisely intercutting and playing out of order and wisely misdirecting us, for lack of a better term. Let's just say, I hope they are. But I do think we're right about some of these guesses about what's going on here. But that doesn't mean that we're not supposed to be right about that at this point. Alexander says, that looks like it might be the fabled cave of cave dweller infamy. Yeah, H2 vibes. Yeah, H281. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all three of these films have had a lot of that Halloween 78 and Halloween 2 imagery. And again, a lot of that goes back to that Dean Cundy cinematography, if you ask me, and how the current team, led by Michael Simmons, has really been able to capture that, lighting wise and framing wise as well. Composition wise. Yeah, this shot here, I just love this shot right here. Andromeda thinks this is the real Michael. This is James Jude Courtney. Yeah. Haha, 1-2 says only OG Mikey knows how to stalk like that. Yeah. This feels like OG Michael. Okay, so you guys are in agreement. This is the real Michael here. Yeah. This is an iconic shot. This is just classic. Like I said, this is Haddonfield 101 right here. Michael doing his stalking thing. There he comes into focus just a little bit more. And then they're teasing again, their saga is going to come to an end. And I love this. We get some of those quick flashback scenes. I was really honestly expecting most of this trailer to be flashback scenes to the previous films. I would have been fine with that. I'm kind of glad they did include some of these because they say their saga. And then they just very quickly, very effortlessly remind us that this has been going on for now 44, basically 45 years. And we get this great shot. That is Nick Castle in The Mask in the 78 film. And of course, Jamie Lee Curtis, the first time she played Laurie Strode in Carpenter's original. This is their confrontation in 2018. And of course, we fans know we're glossing over some other memorable confrontations in Halloween 2 in 1981, and Halloween H2O, and Halloween Resurrection, and, not to mention the two Rob Zombie films as well. Again, another throwback. There's Tony Moran in his scene as unmasked Michael. She's about to take that mask off. Flashing to another shot. Last year's Halloween Kills. Let It Burn. And of course, this now truly iconic shot of the Shape emerging from the depths of hell to wreak holy havoc. God, that scene is so powerful in HK. I love it. So I'm glad they included it here. Awesome. Deeps Videos has checked in with a $3 super chat. I love it. Thank you, Deep. Much appreciated. Says, it was a good trailer. I agree with you. Well, thank you very much. So awesome. Sammy Gomez says, this may be the best shot of film in the new trilogy. I'm telling you, it's going to be hard for anything in this movie to top this moment when he steps out in that movie. And again, from every level, from the framing, the composition, the cinematography of it all, the symbolism of it all. Like I said, symbolically emerging from the depths of hell, out of death yet again. Yeah, couldn't be a more powerful symbol. But that was then, this is now, right? Again, intercut with some of these iconic moments that have been with us for 44 years now. I mean, Laurie, she was the first one to really notice what is going on, no, she knew that wasn't Devin Graham. She knew there was something weird. She knew there was somebody out there in the clotheslines, somebody out there outside the school staring in that didn't feel right. She's always known. And here we go. Their saga ends. And again, I do like that on that poster and in the banners that are on social media now, it's the word ends, that they're selling this movie. That title, ends. Not even Halloween it, but just ends, as in plural, multiple ends. Yeah, I just like that. And here we go. And there's really our first and only real look at Allison in this trailer, right? I mean, am I missing something? Did I overlook something from earlier? We get next to nothing of Andy Matichak reprising her role as Allison. And yeah, I'm going to have to pull up some of my Savannah footage because, yeah, that intersection, I'm pretty sure we were there as well. Tiny bit of Hallowsphere in the background. I do think it's noticeably decorated for Halloween, but consciously less Halloween spirit than in 2018, and for all the reasons that we all agree make sense. And I loved seeing this. We talked a few weeks ago on Michael Myers Monday Live about the fact that Will Patton had not been officially announced as returning as Frank Hawkins, a character who I've really come to love in the last two films. And we all pretty much assumed he was done after his encounter with Sartain in 2018, but he survived. He had some memorable lines in HK, and great to see him back in this scene. That kind of got me a little bit excited when we're getting those quick flashes of Laurie and her history with Michael, and then Allison, to at least get a little bit of Officer Hawkins here. Andromeda notices that Frank is not wearing his uniform. I noticed that too. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he too, like Laurie, decided let's try to leave this behind. I mean, let's be hopeful. I'd like to say maybe they're finally together now, like an item, hanging out, dating, if that's what you call it at that age. I don't know. I mean, she's living with Allison, they say, so I don't know. But maybe he's retired. But obviously, when something like this hits the news or hits the airwaves, I can imagine him sitting at home, kind of like Loomis in The Curse of Michael Myers, even though he's long since retired, still gonna have that police scanner on every night, especially in October. Are you kidding me? I did love seeing him running up to the scene here like this. And I think that's going to be real emotional. His re-encounter, his reunion with Michael Myers, now that HK has deepened his relationship with this character and with this whole current mythology. So much more than 2018. Now Frank Hawkins is so tied to this imagining, this iteration of Michael Myers. So much more than he was prior to the events of HK and the information that we learned in that film. And that looks like the character that we saw earlier that Michael was stalking. And yeah, I mean, that to me, you guys were all pretty sure that looked like Michael, the real Michael, doing that kind of stalking. And I have to agree. This, to me, this feels like our current Michael Myers, which after Halloween Kills, I have been calling the ultimate Michael Myers. I mean, Nick Castle will always be the original, right? He's the classic. I mean, Dick Warlock is like the gold standard, if you ask me. But James Jude Courtney, I mean, it's hard pressed to argue that he is not the ultimate Michael Myers, especially when you take in totally all of his carnage of the last two films. So yes, this to me feels like our current James Jude Courtney ultimate Michael Myers, and I gotta say, little gratifying to see him attacking somebody that's not Laurie Strode, because that kind of suggests at least that Michael's, he's not going to be quite as limited as the Laurie Strode finale battle that we know is coming. They've been hyping that for since we saw the added scene in the extended cut. They've literally been hyping that. So this is a cool moment right here. And again, hard to see here exactly what character this is. You guys tell me what you think. Aha, the great ProtectSafes.com has checked in. Thanks for being here. Jason Yost says, after seeing the trailer, I think everything that had everyone worried has just been put to rest. Adam agrees. Yeah, when he's throwing people around, fighting, killing them, that's our real Michael. James Jude Courtney is absolutely epic, but Nick Castle is so special because he's the original. Oh, absolutely. And Nick Castle, it's so great that, as James say, he breathes life into this version of James Michael, and he literally breathes life into him. I think that is beautiful in itself too. And Nick has let it be known, we've talked about it before, but Nick has let it be known that he did film a cameo for this, and for the first time, it's a cameo where he's not in the mask. Actually as a different character, and I've speculated on Michael Myers Monday Live of who I would cast him as if I was going to cast an unmasked Nick Castle in a cameo role, but we could talk about that another time. All right, you can chime in on who you think this is. All right, let me go back here, though, because this shot right here, oh my God. When I saw this one, this was like, okay, that's my new cover photo. That is like, I am loving this image of Michael right here. Just the hair, the lighting, This is like some classic Michael, circa H2, circa 78. This looks awesome to me. What do you guys think? Jason agrees. Great shot. Protect Saves predicts that Nick Castle is the new Loomis. Now that would be pretty brilliant. That would be pretty brilliant. Like Loomis Jr. or something. Sammy says that gives me chills. That's what I'm saying. This is chill inducing. This is the shape. You know, there was a particular shot that I fell in love with early on in the marketing of HK, and it turned out to be that very brief shot of Michael walking when Karen has taken his mask. And I didn't know that's what was going on in the marketing, because you can't tell that he's not wearing his mask. It's literally just James's silhouette. It's literally the shape. And it is James walking in that shot. But that blew me away, because that's so much tapped into what I think is the essence of the shape. And this shot for me does it again. So simple, so elementary, nothing grandiose happening, but instantly recognizable and terrifying. The way we like our shape. Bayfield says Nick Castle playing Michael's father. That would be cool. That would be quite interesting. Andromeda says on Wham, Jay and Mike were saying the same thing about this shot. Well, hey, you know, great minds think alike, right? Deep says disturbing. Yes. Adam agrees. Definitely a creepy shot of Michael right there. Looks great. LMS agrees. Really awesome shot. This is going to look awesome in Lego. Yes. Lego movie scenes in the house. That I knew I recognized LMS. Yes, I can't wait to see your version of this trailer, LMS. Guys, if you're not following LMS, check them out. That is Lego movie scenes, and they have done Lego versions of all of these trailers and every other awesome trailer in recent years. Go check them out. Thanks for being here, man. Anthony says Best Buy is HK Steelbook up for pre-order. Yep, I saw that last week. Absolutely. Yeah, I just can't say enough about this shot. This one, I mean, immediately when it came up last night on my first viewing, it almost, it took my breath away. Because we're getting all these quick flashes, you know, and we're getting the flashes to 78 and the flashes to 2018 and to kills and then we get Allison and then oh man, there's Frank and then we get to this. Breathtaking. All right. Allison, again, we get very little of Allison in this, and again, that's fine. I don't want much more than we get in this trailer. This, coupled with this badass poster, coupled with this new synopsis, I think we've got everything we need to go into this movie with full hype. This is very reminiscent of Allison's scream at the bottom of the stairs in the Myers house in HK, if you ask me. but her hair looks much nicer this 4 years later, as does Laurie. They've been definitely, you know, treating themselves, taking care of themselves a little bit, a little darker, you know, maybe reflecting her personality a little bit. Who knows? And again, I mean, David Gordon Green and Danny McBride said in promoting 2018 that originally they didn't even know that they were going to be able to have Jamie Lee Curtis in their film. And once they realized that it was even a possibility that she was even going to consider it, they took it on them to write a script that she couldn't say no for. And I think they succeeded, and they made my favorite version of Laurie Strode in Halloween 2018. I mean, I love these films, and Laurie's always been, the quintessential survivor girl, final girl, right? But for me personally, I mean, my favorite version of her wasn't 2018, still isn't 2018, and this is that Laurie Strode now. Not the Laurie Strode we see earlier, that confident, together, like, all right, let's go. I almost feel like that scene. I'll talk about it in a minute, what I think is happening in that opening scene, but love this image of badass, pissed off Laurie Strode. And again, I could go on and on and on about the framing, the cinematography, the colors even. I mean, we got those nice, cool autumn blues that this franchise is so familiar with. I mean, it's just all there. And she's got this great line. And, I mean, the fact that they have her saying, "Come and get me, motherfucker," right here in the trailer. I mean, obviously, they'll cut that last word out in the theatrical cut of the trailer, I imagine, unless they're going to only play it red band and with rated R movies, maybe. I don't know. But when you guys go see Note this weekend, tell me and tell me what you think. Tell me if they left it in or if there is any differences. But we love that line. And again, this, I think, it's no doubt. This is our Michael Myers. This is our ultimate Michael Myers. I mean, there might be somebody else going around Haddonfield dressing up like Michael Myers, pretending to be Michael Myers in this film. This trailer is certainly laying the groundwork for that. That synopsis lays some groundwork for that. Whether it's this kid Corey or whether this kid Corey is telling the truth and he's innocent and it's somebody else, I think it's evident that no matter what's going on, the real deal is coming home again this year. And it will be the real deal that has this much hyped, much anticipated showdown with Laurie Strode. And yes, they may not be brother and sister in this version of the story, but they are arch enemies. They are good and evil. They are the light and the dark in this Halloween universe. And this shot, again, I mean, you just can't beat it. It's like something out of the original Halloween, honestly. All right, give me 1 second, guys. All right, turning over to the live chat again here for just a sec. Oh, Andromeda's got to go. All right, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Adam agrees, loves these David Gordon Green films in this current timeline. Myers fan 78 says Myers has a ring on in the previous shot. Okay, I didn't notice that. Don noticed it too. Looks like he's wearing a ring. Interesting. I did not notice that. I see what I think you're talking about, but it also, from what I'm looking at, it could be. It almost looked like it's just like his dirty hand, maybe in this moment. You know, like some grease or oil or something on his finger, reflecting in the light. If that's what you guys are talking about, that's the way I'm seeing that. But again, I could be wrong. Mayfield says, is Laurie wearing a stab vest in this shot? Very interesting observation. I didn't see it like that, but hey, I mean, definitely could be. I mean, no matter how much she's going to put Michael behind her and move on with her life, according to that synopsis, I don't think there's any way in hell that this version of Laurie Strode is not going to remain, ready and prepared for him to come back again. Adam agrees. Oh, yes, the real deal very much here, facing off against Laurie and killing people again as well. Absolutely. Adam agrees. Looks like she's wearing a stab-proof vest. Well, that'd definitely be one good way to prolong this finale battle for sure. And there, we could compare the audio of this moment of breathing as opposed to those moments earlier. And I'm sure you guys are probably correct that we would find slight difference in the breathing. And here we have this intense battle scene. I think this is very much what they did show during the CinemaCon event earlier this year. And because we had got reports that there was a little bit of a fighting of Michael and Laurie in a kitchen. She grabs the knife, and yeah, I mean, look at what she's wearing here. You guys talk about, wearing what she was wearing from the original. I mean, that looks like almost the exact blue button-up shirt that she had on in the original, right, guys? I mean, it's like, I know it's not literally the same one and not meant to be, but it's that same color. I mean, this is not on accident. Now, there's no doubt that is our Michael Myers having his already burned, charred hand with 2 missing fingers blown off. Yeah, now he's got a big old butcher knife stabbed through the middle of it. That's our Michael, all right. So again, if there's any doubt that the real deal is not in this movie or not going to be dominating, kicking ass, doing his thing throughout this movie, I think, as you guys have pointed out, I think the trailer, I definitely think the trailer lays some fans' fears to rest. But you know who you'd never heard reporting on certain crazy ideas like Michael Myers isn't going to be in the movie, or he's only barely going to be in, or whatever. You know, it's all a dream, or all these crazy headlines that I've seen over the last year. Yeah, you know what channel never got caught up in any of that BS, right? Yeah, yeah. The one you're watching now. That's right. Anyway, tell me what you think about this confrontation in the kitchen, this hand stab. And this is what I was talking about when they very intentionally, I feel, very intentionally had Michael's left hand. I mean, he could have opened that door any way, like you guys said. He could have just busted through the door. You know, they let that hand be shown in frame, and then they purposefully end the trailer with this shot. You know, I think you know, it doesn't take a genius to say that they're leaving us these breadcrumbs and letting us, you know, see that, yeah, there's going to be somebody else running around at some point in this film dressed up like Michael Myers, whether they're going to be actually a copycat killer, like actually stalking people, actually trying to kill, or maybe just pranking, or maybe, you know, just... Anyway, let me talk about that in just a second. I know I keep saying that, but I got a few points I want to make here. Let me just finish this. And then we get our title treatment, which is exactly remnant of the previous two films. In theaters October 14th. And we will be there, as I know you all will too. All right. Give me your thoughts now on this epic trailer. We have waited, I know it seems like we waited forever for this, but really, if we're all honest, I mean, you know, if you add up every minute and every second of every day since since the release of HK, let's say, to now, and then you compare that to how long we all waited since the release of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 to the very first trailer for Halloween 2018. Oh my God, this wait has been like nothing, right? It's been like just, whew, like it was nothing. I can't believe we're already here. But we are here. We are here. And that's a lot to digest. That's a lot to go over. Now, like I said, I got more to talk about in you know, just a little more of my take to present to you guys here. Million ideas has checked in. Hey, what's up, man? Let's see. Let me just check in here real quick. Alexander says someone posted an image of a example of a hunting knife which appears to match the blade on the frames before that. If you hold it in the classic Myers style stabbing motion, it can look like a ring. Okay, well, there you go. That could be that definitely could be an explanation. Sorry, guys. I got to be off camera for just a second. I'm going to read your comments for just a minute. David says, I want Michael to win. I'm sure you're not the only one. Adam says, that's exactly what I thought. He agrees the burnt two-fingered hand is even more of a giveaway. I think there will be another killer as well, but the Michael and Laurie will be the main focus. Million Ideas loves the trailer. Absolutely. Don says, even more pumped for October 14th. Hell yes. Bayfield says, 10 out of 10. Just enough given away. I agree. Adam Mars says, three-fingered hand. That's it. David Suber says, great trailer. Can't wait. Absolutely. All right. Given everything we know now from this footage and from that new updated synopsis, and I just want to talk a minute about how this applies to the larger franchise and this idea of, be it a copycat Michael Myers killer, um, or maybe just somebody having a little too much, arguably inappropriate fun, um, dressing up as Michael Myers. This is an idea that has circled around and within this franchise for decades. Um, you can go back to Halloween 2, 1981, and Ben Tramer. And of course, horrible case of mistaken identity there. Just, a harmless, innocent kid dressed in a costume very much like that Michael Myers is wearing, and he's tragically killed. And of course, Laurie had a crush on him, and of course, he got a loving reference in Halloween Kills. Now, this timeline, cuts out the events of Halloween 2. So, will we see Ben Tramer show up in this film? That's something, personally, I am hoping for. After his shout out in Halloween Kills, yeah, I've said before, regular viewers know this, the two main things I've requested of the filmmakers, and I'll just say I've predicted. That way, if it happens, I'll say, yeah, you heard it here first. But one is Ben Tramer in the movie, and Halloween Ends. Let's have Ben. Justice for Ben Tramer, right? Two is I want to hear the Silver Shamrock jingle. It could be on TV. It could be on the radio, playing through that radio tower that we've heard so much about, but I don't see really any significant or sign of in this trailer, at least. But I want to hear that at some point. It could be a modern 2022 version of it. It doesn't have to sound very much like the old version. It doesn't even necessarily have to be set to the old London Bridge tune like the old one, but come on. Silver Shamrock exists. The corporation's there in this universe. It only makes sense. And this being the third film in this particular trilogy. So those things I'd love to see. But again, back to mistaken identities, copycats, and other people dressed as Michael Myers. There was Ben Tramer. We might see Ben Tramer again in this film. I hope we do. But that's far from the only time that this franchise has explored the idea that, other people might dress up as Michael Myers. And it might confuse people. It might purposely confuse people sometimes. If you remember in Halloween 4, this was explored just briefly, but in one of that film's best scenes, I think. Early on, Loomis and the sheriff, they're driving around, they're looking for Michael, they see him, and then it's one of the coolest scenes because then there's Michael over there, and then there's another Michael. And you got to go back to 1988. If you've never seen this film before and you're watching it for the first time, for a few seconds there's the very real possibility that there's more than one person out there putting on this mask doing these killings. And then if that's the reality, and it's not all about the shape, this one individual, this one human person named Michael Myers, as Laurie, when she's being interviewed, and Dana, the investigative journalist, says in 2018. So, there's that possibility for albeit a few seconds. But, for those few seconds, it's very real that some innocent people are about to get shot down by law enforcement. In Halloween 5, we've got a little bit of that again. We've got the character of Spitz. If you remember, he's actually wearing a full Michael Myers costume. Okay? This is after Michael has killed Judith in this timeline. This is after the events of Halloween and Halloween 2 and now Halloween 4 and 88. This is a year later, and he's still out there. They're at the barn Halloween party, and Spitz is dressed as Michael playing around. Remember the goofy cops? They're kind of fooled by him for a second, and then, and then Michael follows him into the barn. He has that scene with Samantha and everything. But again, this is somebody putting on the costume. In this case, harmlessly, not trying to be a copycat killer or impersonate Michael, but just making light of the whole thing as young, dumb teenagers would do in real life. In some circumstances, some of them would, in circumstances like this. Um, this was explored probably more than ever, more infamously than ever, though, in Halloween Resurrection, which came out 20 years ago, this month actually, when the great Busta Rhymes had his very memorable scene, not just wearing a Michael Myers mask, but dressed in full Michael Myers costume, face to face with the Michael Myers in that film, played by Brad Laurie. And he goes on to talk a bunch of smack to Michael in that scene. And again, this is somebody in a universe where very screen accurate, I guess you could say, life accurate and in universe accurate, what the term would be in that universe. Myers costumes are available and exist and have happened. And of course, it's taken even another level in HK with the whole mistaken identity aspect of Trivoli. But here's the part that I don't think all of you may know, or if you're a longtime reader of our website, HalloweenDailyNews.com, and you've been with us for many, many years, then you might remember what I'm about to talk about. But I got a feeling that some of you that have joined us more recently in recent years, and even since 2010, you might not be familiar with this part of the tie-in to possibly this whole Corey Cunningham, this whole possible copycat Michael Myers idea. And again, if you don't, I don't know that any of this has anything to do with this film, but I know it has to do with this franchise, and that similar ideas to what may be happening in this film have been around and have been very close to being put on screen before. And most notably, I am talking about Halloween H2O. Not what you see in the film, but what you don't see, what you almost saw. And for the full details of this, you have to read my interview with Adam Ham-Bird. If you don't know who Adam Ham-Bird is, he played the character of Charlie in Halloween H2O. Now, I've put the link to my interview with Adam in the description of this video. So when we're done here, you can go and check it out. This interview was conducted and published back in the summer of 2014. And Adam played Charlie. You'll remember, Charlie has a memorable encounter with Michael Myers as he is going to find a corkscrew so he and his girlfriend can, pop some champagne on Halloween and have some fun. I know. Your brain's starting to remember now his death scene, and it's starting to ring some bells to something that we saw in that trailer a minute ago, but it gets better. Check this out. When I interviewed Adam, who is an awesome dude, by the way, back in 2014, again, check it out when we're done here. I'm not going to read you the whole interview. I'm not going to tell you about the whole interview, but I'm going to tell you a few Cliff's Notes right now. Adam Ham-Bird revealed that when he originally was in talks to join the film, the script that he originally read was quite different than that which was ultimately filmed. Adam Ham-Bird revealed to me in 2014 in our exclusive interview that originally, when the script came his way, he was most excited because in the original draft that he received, his character, Charlie, was actually a bad guy, in his words. I know. You're saying, what? This is what Adam told me in 2014. He said, quote, He, meaning Charlie, was a copycat killer who was copying Michael Myers and wreaking havoc at the boarding school, meaning the boarding school where Laurie Strode, now going by the name of Carrie Tate, worked. Adam goes on to explain, quote, "Then, of course, in the end, the real Michael Myers comes and exacts revenge upon him." And Adam went on to tell me how he was totally pumped to play this version of the character, who, if you've seen the movie, it would have been, I imagine, very much like the Charlie we see in the film until Act 3, where it would have been this kind of Scream-type twist, which, again, with H2O's ties to Scream creator Kevin Williamson, and also coming out in the late 90s, where Scream was the dominant force in genre film. All of this made perfect sense when he revealed this to me in 2014, and it makes perfect sense now, and what would have been just a wild way to go. Now, he did end up getting the role of Charlie, but the role of Charlie ended up being changed a little bit, and they didn't end up going that route. But, in case you're wondering, Adam did describe what would have been his big reveal scene. Okay. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that any of this is going to play out like this in Halloween Ends. But I am saying that if anything close to this plays out in Halloween Ends, it's not the first time the idea has circled within this franchise, specifically within this franchise in a film involving the character of Laurie Strode. The way he was going to reveal himself as the killer would have been, according to Adam Hanbird, because Charlie is Josh Hartnett's character's roommate, and in that original script, and they would have been hanging out in the dorm room, and Charlie was going to start singing the Oscar Mayer Wiener song, and he would spell Oscar like in the old commercials, and then he would start to spell the Mayer, like as in the Oscar Mayer hot dog wieners, and the brand spells it Mayer, but Charlie, being the jokester that he is, would have sung it, and when he got to that point, he would have spelled it Myers, and that would have been the big reveal. Pretty wild idea, and pretty interesting alternate setup for what would have been a wild third act in some alternate universe of Halloween H2O. And here's one more thing that made me think of my interview with Adam from 2014, talking H2O. Because if you've seen the movie, you know that, his character Charlie, he goes, spoilers if you haven't seen H2O, he goes to get the corkscrew, and it falls in a garbage disposal, in the sink. And so he's got to reach his hand in there and try to get it. And this is a really tense thing, because you think, like Michael's just going to come and flip the thing on. And he ends up getting it out, and that not happening, and then he turns around and there's his encounter with Michael, and you never, his death is off screen. They cut to the carnage later. Well, Adam told me in this interview that, and again, I put a link in the description below, but he explained to me that at one point, Jamie Lee Curtis actually came up to him at lunch and said that he and director Steve Miner, director of Friday the 13th, 2 and 3, had been talking for hours the night before about a fun way to kill Charlie. And they had come up with sticking his hand down the garbage compactor. And he was all for it. He wanted to chop it off and make it real nasty. And then they explained that, no, we actually want to do that, and we're going to build a suspenseful moment, but then you're going to make it out of that, and you'll face an even worse fate with Michael Myers. But I can't help but thinking now, knowing all of that, and seeing that part of this climactic battle with Laurie Strode and Michael Myers is going to involve this garbage compactor. It's clear that what is Jamie Lee Curtis most scared of? What scares her more than anything in the world, if you ask me, is having your hand go into a garbage compactor. She has had this on her mind for a scene since 1998. You know what I mean? And it's finally here, and now it's happening to Laurie Strode, and it's Michael actually attempting to try to do it. So I thought that was a pretty insane and funny wraparound, because there are other similarities. There have been obviously some similarities to Halloween H2O and that timeline, and specifically Halloween 2018, and to a larger extent this timeline. But check out that interview with Adam when you get a chance. It's a fun one. That and so many other interviews we've done over the last 10 years with the cast and crew of these films. Not just these recent films, tons of them as well, but all 13 films over the last 44 years. You can find all of those interviews and all of our exclusive interviews anytime at HalloweenDailyNews.com. And all you got to do is just click on the interviews tab, and that will take you to nothing but exclusive interviews, and you can find Adams and so many more. Or much quicker, after we're done here in just a few minutes, you can hit that link in the description of this video and check out that interview with Adam. It's really pretty interesting. Now, again, I'm not saying that any of that stuff is going to happen in HNs, but I'm not saying that something similar is not in the works, because from everything we know now, it definitely sounds like similar ideas as to what was circling around this franchise in 1998 are circling this franchise again. We've heard that this movie is going to be different. It's going to be a little weird. It's going to be, I think we're they're preparing us for that a little bit with this Corey character. I think that is the big headline for me, is that we have got an all new character to this franchise that, all we know about is this one sentence: accused of killing a boy he was babysitting. I mean, is he going to say, I didn't kill him, Michael Myers killed him? Is he going to say, I did kill him and a voice in my head told me to? What? I don't know any of that yet, but it's damn intriguing and I think exciting. I've said before, give me something a little different, a little out there, I'm always a champion for the outsiders, for the underdogs, for the season of the witches, and, in Rob Zombie Halloween films, I always champion the weirdos and the often unloved. So bring it on. Let's do something a little bit different here. All right. So that's pretty much my take on everything at this point. That's where we are. And that's some of my immediate thoughts. I'll have plenty more tomorrow and the next day, and and I'll be back on here to talk about them. But now I turn it over to you. I want to hear what you thought about the trailer. What do you think about my take on all this? Am I way off? Do you agree with any of my thoughts? Give me your opinions in the comments below. And, of course, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our ongoing coverage of Halloween Ends and everything Michael Myers and everything Halloween 2022. So much happening here. All right, I'm going to turn over here to the live chat again before we get out of here and see what you guys think about all this. David Suber commenting on my shirt. Love the shirt. Thank you. Yep, I love this one. Thank you for noticing. You know, I didn't know what the most appropriate shirt is, but yeah, this is, I mean, what are we marking here? It is their saga coming to an end, truly. I mean, we know there's going to be more movies eventually. There's going to be more Michael Myers somehow, some way down the road. But as far as the Michael Laurie saga, as far as the Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, Michael Myers, yeah, this is the closing chapter. So I had to do something to celebrate that. And I just love this shirt. I love Batman. I love Halloween. This combines it all. So thanks for noticing, Dave. Thanks for being here. Looking forward to seeing you at Mad Monster Expo next month. I'm not going to talk about that today because we've already been on here for 2 hours, but insane lineup has been added to their guest list in addition to Dick Warlock. I'm talking Tommy Lee Wallace, Sandy Johnson, Tom Atkins, Stacey Nelkin. Yeah. And that's just the people from this franchise. Awesome show coming here to North Carolina. Hardyverse has checked in. What's up? Thank you for being here. Devin D is here, 45 years, but 1978 to 22 is 44 years. Yes, they do say 45 in that official synopsis. I guess they're just rounding up, I'm guessing. But yes, technically it's been 44 years. Devin says, what the accusation with Corey during the 4 years Michael was gone? Could be. Adam says, Michael will obviously be the main killer in Ends, but Corey could be a copycat who Michael takes revenge on for trying to imitate him. What's up, Byron? Thanks for being here, man. One of our most loyal friends and viewers and supporters. I love it. Thank you. Yeah, Adam, I mean, I think it's clear, you know, the real deal is back in Haddonfield, is going to be doing his thing, no doubt. But, and yeah, how much of this Corey character, you know, is he actually killing? Is he, you know, is it Michael all along? Is it him sometimes and then the real one shows up? All that remains up in the air, and I'm open to all that. I kind of like the idea, though, of bringing in some new blood. You know, a brand new character that we've not met before. You know, kind of like Frank Hawkins, somebody that we just didn't have in this before. I know Frank, in some ways, is kind of like this timeline's version of Brackett in a way. I get that that's kind of what they were going for, at least with 2018, and now they've kind of carried it a little differently. But let's see. Lee Bowers has checked in. James Courtney. Sorry. James Jude Courtney is killing it as Michael. Hell yes, he is. He is the man. He is our ultimate Michael Myers, and lucky to be able to call him a friend. And it was awesome to actually get a text from Mr. James Jude Courtney yesterday as the trailer was going everywhere. Everybody was sharing it. And, of course, he's very excited, very proud. And so I was stoked on Halloween's Day, just after midnight last night, to get a text from James Jude Courtney himself. And, of course, I had to tell him how badass the trailer looks and just how excitement is off the charts. Devin says, DGG is doing Part 5 BS. Interesting. I don't know. Oh, you mean with, like I was talking about from Part 5 with somebody else wearing the costume? Oh, I see what you mean. A Part 5 Friday the 13th BS, where it's a fake out and it's not Michael all along. I see what you're saying. Like a Roy. Yes, where it was Roy doing the killings and not Jason, until Jason finally, of course, shows up at the end. It does seem somewhat like that, yes. And that's why, again, I referenced that Corey's last name is Cunningham, and I do like the Arnie Cunningham mention, because David Gordon Green has said that he sees this film somewhat as like Christine. So that would arguably make sense if Myers' mask in this film is kind of this Corey's version of what Christine was to Arnie. I could kind of see that a little bit. But I also kind of like the idea that he's also, at the same time, yes, named after Arnie, but also named after Sean Cunningham, director of the original Friday the 13th. And Sean Cunningham, and I think everybody involved in that film, has since freely admitted that it is essentially kind of the original Michael Myers copycat. Right? I mean, Friday the 13th, the order was to make a movie that was like Halloween. And, so in a sense, it is the first, the original Michael Myers copycat. Just saying. Just my 2 cents. Adam says, Corey could be the killer for the first act, then Michael comes back for the second and third one. It will be interesting to see. Oh, it's going to be so awesome to see. Anthony says, did I like the poster? I love the poster. Again, my only surprise with the poster is that it's another profile like the previous 2. I did honestly expect that this time we were going to get like a straight-on look. But yeah, you can rewatch the earlier parts of this stream. But yes, I actually love the poster. I think it looks great. And I think the slightly more weathered, darkened version of this mask looks fitting and haunting as it should, and evil and dark. And but I think my favorite thing about the poster, I know I keep talking about it, but my favorite thing is that they're just calling it ends on this poster. They're just calling it ends. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's really cool. You guys tell me what you think about that part of it. I know I keep talking about it. Maybe I'm just overreacting about it, English major over here geeking out on words or lack of words, but I like that. Kevin, what's up? New subscriber, great stream. Thanks so much. Looking forward to the film. Thank you so much for joining, man. Thank you for being a subscriber and for joining the stream and for the kind words. I really appreciate it. I think you're going to like it here. If you enjoyed this one, we do this type stuff all the time. Our regular gathering of Michael Myers specific Halloween movie fans is Monday nights. That's when we do our Michael Myers Monday live show. Typically, it is every week, Monday night, 10:31 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's when we just talk about all things Myers related. Now, that's far from all we do here. If you're joining us for the first time today, you should know that we don't just cover this franchise, and we don't just cover Michael Myers stuff. We cover all things Halloween. So we're covering Terrifier 2, we're covering Hocus Pocus 2, we're covering Spirit Halloween's animatronics releases today. We cover the spectrum of all things Halloween, but obviously this is the only movie franchise in history with 13 films with the word Halloween in the title and take place on Halloween night. Halloween is still officially in the title of this, though, right? It's still officially Halloween ends, right? I mean, I'm cool if it's not, but I'm assuming. But I love that they're marketing it like this. Like, just put ends on there and then this Halloween. Because, again, grammatically, that'd look a little odd. Halloween ends this Halloween. Then I like that choice. Hunter says, love the trailer, love the look of the mask. Hell yeah, me too. Lee agrees, look at the mask. Same, more dirty, aged, rotten, dark. Christopher Nelson did an amazing job on The Mask. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, he did. Chris and his whole team, for all three of these movies, they've just knocked it out of the park. On The Mask, absolutely, but on all of the effects, the carnage, the gore, oh my god. Yeah, they're killing it. Adam says it makes sense that they are running on the ends slogan. It is the finale for David Gordon Green, Andy, Jamie, and the other cast, characters, crew members. Absolutely. And I do love that it has been not just the same team in front of the camera, but almost entirely the same team behind the camera. And many of them have told me that they have left other jobs to come and do this because it meant so much to them and they wanted to be doing this job. And I knew that 2018 was going to be special when I talked to Christopher Nelson and he told me about how many of the crew, made sacrifices to be a part of that film, not because they thought it was going to be a huge hit or anything like that, but because the original meant so much to them. Well, it was like the reason they started making movies. So to see them take so much pride in this, I think it's beautiful. I think it's awesome. Byron says, do you think we could have a Roy from Friday the 13th Part 5, like a new copycat killer? Yeah, like I was saying. I mean, I could totally see that this play out like that this Corey character does turn out to be, guilty of what he's being accused of, maybe, doing the copycat thing, like Adam's character, Charlie, was originally going to do in H2O. Maybe that comes to light this time, and as was going to be the plan in H2O, then Act 3, the real deal shows up, and things really take off. Yeah, I can see all that happening. I told you I was going to tell you what I think, or what I kind of hope is happening in that opening scene with the red house, with, I guess, Laurie's house in that trailer. Personally, I'm kind of hoping that this is how the movie opens, and it's an homage to 78. It's like the Shapes POV, and it comes in, but it's not this guy Corey. It's not Michael. It's and maybe it's not even Laurie's house. Maybe she's just like a Michael Myers prank exterminator now. That the people that do try to celebrate Halloween in peace, when they have some asshole that just like is just inappropriately pranking them or something with Michael Myers, by dressing up with Michael Myers. She's the one who says, all right, leave the door unlocked, I'll get rid of them. And it turns out to be somebody else. And she's like, all right, let's go. And Frank's out there, or Frank's nephew or whoever, the new sheriff. I guess it's still Sheriff Parker would still be the sheriff. As far as we know, he might have retired too after the events of 2018. But anyway, I kind of hope it's kind of something like that. Like nothing like what we're even thinking. Because again, then I would feel that the marketing strategy is even more right on point, because we don't want to know too much going into this. But I agree with you guys. I think the trailer length is just right, a little bit over a minute. I think the footage, just a little bit of legacy footage spliced in with recent footage of the last two films. It is a little odd and suspicious that not a single sign of Lindsay Wallace in there, no Kyle Richards. I was a little bit surprised to that. I'm kind of wondering why we don't get a quick shot of her when we do get those quick shots of Allison and Hawkins, but obviously they're saving her first on-screen reveal for later, so that'll be something else we can look forward to. But again, give me your comments below. Daniel thinks the way the mask looks is more frightening, very eerie. I would have to agree. Devin asks, can you expect another trailer a month before the release? Oh, I do think they will release a second trailer. I do. Probably, yes. Probably in September, either just before or just after Labor Day, most likely. That makes the most sense to me. Hopefully it'll be a similar length, not much more than a minute, and just some quick kind of atmospheric action type shots. yeah, if that's what we get, that's fine, and maybe just a tiny bit of uh, Kyle and maybe a little bit of this Corey guy, because they're gonna, if they're putting it in the synopsis now, then they are, they're preparing us that, okay, we're gonna be focusing a significant part of the story on this guy. I think it just opens up a ton more mystery knowing that, because now we don't know how much of the story is truly about him, how much of his story is a red herring, or not, or something in between. You know what I mean? And then there's always this other possibility. We're all assuming that he's lying, but it says he's accused of killing somebody he was babysitting. What if Corey's telling the truth? What if he's saying, I didn't kill this kid, Michael Myers did, or somebody else dressed as Michael, did. That's always a possibility too, and that opens up more doors of possibility. So I like that we know this tiny bit about this character, and I think, again, this is this franchise learning from history. Everybody agrees that the biggest fault of Halloween Season of the Witch was when they released it in 1982. It was just marketed as Halloween 3. So obviously, without any internet and no spoilers whatsoever available at the time, everybody went looking for a third Michael Myers movie, and he was not there. Had they marketed it and prepared everybody and let everybody know, hey, this is a new kind of movie, a new thing from those Michael Myers creators, I think at the time they might have been a little more accepting of it. And I think a little bit of that is what they're doing with this one sentence in that synopsis. Just letting everybody know that, look, this is all about 44 years of Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers coming to a conclusion. This is the finale of that. Absolutely. And even more than that, it is the finale of these last 4 years. Absolutely. But, heads up, we've also got this other story over here that we are going to acknowledge and we are going to, have in this film. And again, I see it as exciting, but I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Justin says, I still think the ending of Kills should have been the ending of Ends, but with Laurie there. It was so appropriate how he was cornered and beaten to death by the people. Missed opportunity. There's definitely something to be said for that. I mean, that was, an epic scene, and and I do love the, it was kind of a little bit like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. I always loved the story that he was so evil and killed so many people, but at the end of the day, it wasn't the cops that brought him down. It was the people of the community, because he was a wanted man, and they chased him down. Ultimately, this monster who killed children and elderly people, and not to mention just regular old women and men, but killed them all. And all in the name of Satan too. And but I love that, his story, it's the people that brought him down ultimately. So I always got a little bit of those vibes in HK when the mob finally has him, and it's that great gotcha moment in that movie. So there might be something to be said for what you're suggesting. Dude got here late. Really enjoyed the Ends trailer. I think I'll like whatever the twist is as long as it's executed well. Love the look of it too. Finally, some low-key lighting, spooky. Yes, yes, yes on all that. Absolutely. Lee says the mask looks amazing. Yes, absolutely. I agree. Awesome. All right. Once again, everybody, I want to thank you for joining me today for this live stream trailer breakdown and discussion. It wouldn't have been the same without you, and I appreciate you. And if you missed it and you're watching it on a replay right now, then I would still absolutely love to hear from you. Drop us a comment down below. And if you're watching live, and if you wouldn't mind, just light up a pumpkin in the comments down below before you leave on your way out the door. That helps with algorithms and all that good stuff. And be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Turn on your notifications. Lots of cool stuff coming very soon. Think about joining our channel membership. We call it the HDN Club. Lots of cool perks on there. It's only $5 a month. You can click the join button down below for details if you're interested. Mainly, it's just a way to throw us a little extra support. And again, enjoy some exclusive perks that not everybody gets for free. But you still get plenty here for free. So don't sleep on that, and definitely subscribe if you haven't already. All right, guys. I can't thank you enough for joining me today. This has been amazing. It's surreal that we're finally here, but it is on now. We're in it. Michael is back. We're in it, and like I said, if you're new here, plan on joining us every Monday for Michael Myers Monday Live. That's 10:31 p.m. Eastern, Mondays here on the HDN YouTube channel. You guys have all been amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. All right, I'm going to get out of here, go take some cold pills, and take a nap. Till then, guys, I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you for watching.